as a farmer or innkeeper. The Brokaws were Huguenots, enterprising Protestants who had fled France and taken up residence in Holland before coming to America, where many flourished in New York and New Jersey real estate, the arts, and civic affairs. But R.P. Brokaw took another route, not nearly as rewarding. R.P. went north into the New York wilderness, where he opened a small market in the Finger Lakes region. He was a quartermaster and clerk for the North in the Civil War, emerging with a modest pension to finance his trip to the new territories in the American West. He rode the rails and farmed along the way until he reached what was to become the state of South Dakota. Founders of the Milwaukee Road Railroad saw opportunity in the eagerness of the new immigrants to take advantage of land bargains. R.P. stopped in a new village of wooden shanties and primitive homes because it had a promising feature: a rail line north and south, and one east and west. A Milwaukee Road Railroad developer had given these new villages British city names, and this one was called Bristol. R.P. decided it needed overnight accommodations. He started with a tented commissary and then began constructing the first substantial building in town and called it the Brokaw House. R.P., his son William, and his daughter-in-law Elizabeth ran the Brokaw House as a hotel, boarding house, and center of civic activity. By 1889, South Dakota, with statehood, began to attract more settlers, but it remained a frontier. William would meet incoming Milwaukee Road trains as they arrived on that stretch of the prairie. He would greet the passengers with a pitch for Elizabeth's home cooking at the hotel, saying, "If you don't get enough to eat, it won't cost you a dime." The Brokaw House was famous for its dining room, which featured lace tablecloths and an elaborate Sunday menu of oyster stew, roast turkey, duck, roast beef, lamb, tongue salad, mashed potatoes, suet pudding, apple mince, custard and blueberry pies, ice cream, and assorted cakes, all prepared by Elizabeth in a kitchen with an enormous wood-burning stove, while her ingredients were kept fresh by great blocks of ice packed in wood shavings in an ice house. Somewhere along the way, a Roman Catholic priest converted Elizabeth, and she became a devout Catholic, rejecting the Huguenot connection. 9 of her children followed suit, and to this day my cousins, aunts, and uncles on that side of the family are devout Catholics. In the fall of 1912, William and Elizabeth were expecting their 10th child. That was my father, and somehow the Catholic priest missed him in the conversion crusade. That's where this Brokaw Prairie saga really begins. Chapter 2. Anthony Orville Brokaw. Read. On October 12, 1912, Elizabeth delivered a husky boy, more than 12 pounds, the carrot top that would be so much a part of his identity already showing. This latest addition to the Brokaw family would soon shed his baptismal name and become known first as Snooks, after a newspaper cartoon character, and then, for most of his life, as Red. Red came into the world as American politics was in turmoil. He was born during the presidency of William Howard Taft, a portly Ohio Republican who had the blessing of the outgoing president, the rambunctious Theodore Teddy Roosevelt. Roosevelt, ever the contrarian, soon became unhappy with Taft and split from the Republican Party that had elected him president. Instead, TR ran as the nominee of his own invention, the Bull Moose Party. Woodrow Wilson, a scholar and former president of Princeton University, was the Democratic nominee, and when TR divided his own party, it opened the door for Wilson to be elected. Wilson had an ambitious platform of reform, including tariff, banking, and business changes that would diminish the power of Wall Street and big money.